Having my own game show has always been a dream of mine, and y'all made that come true now.
You've always dreamt of being a game show host.
You goddamn right, Jesse.
Okay.
Now, I know y'all see me as a mentor figure. It's no mystery that y'all are basically orphans. I mean, your mama's dead, your daddy's out to lunch, but who stepped up? Me. I had to step up, and I had to guide you and counsel you and hold you. Well, I feel like I'm your daddy.
Welcome back to Romancing the Gemstones. I am Jamie G, mentor to the stars, and I'm back with Magnum Mills because not even the end of Righteous Gemstones can slow us down. On this episode, we're beginning the process of wrapping up the series. We're never getting another new episode, so you know what? Pardon us for stretching this out as long as humanly possible. See if we can get another 3-4 episodes out of you.
Yeah, well, we're still here, and yes, we are still doing phrasing. So if you're still jonesing for your weekly fix of Uncle Baby Billy, we got you covered here on Romancing the Gemstones. We are presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. You can find our content wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Dudes Watch Stuff and on the web at dudeswatchstuff.com. Very easy to remember, very simple, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, gotta click the thumb. Thank you. And you should know, as this is a series wrap-up, there will be full spoilers for the Righteous Gemstones, all aired episodes, podcasts, interviews, articles, you name it. If it exists in the universe, it has to do with the Righteous Gemstones. It is fair game for discussion. Your first, your final, your only warning. If you don't know, now you know.
At the end of the day, Mills and I are both creatures of habits. We like to stick to our systems, not only the Dennis system or Doyle Brunson's super system, but of course our patented Ron's Left evaluation system. Since we've applied it to every single episode, we felt only right to apply it to the entire series. Mills, remind us how the system works. It's a simple system, really.
And it's a very simple approach. This is a three-pronged approach to evaluating what is usually the episode, but in this case is the entire series. If you love the series, you are romancing it. If you like the series, it's a one-night stand. And if you somehow are listening to this, watching this, and you did not like the Righteous Gemstones, you should know you're swiping left because you did not like it. So those are your three options: romancing it, one-night stand, swiping left. Jamie G, we're doing a show about the Righteous Gemstone, so it's probably not a surprise that I am romancing it. And spoiler alert, it was probably right there in the title all along. Are you joining me on the honeymoon romancing cruise or whatever you want to call it here?
Mills, easiest decision I've made in a long time. Yes. I'm talking a hard yes here. I am romancing it. This has been such a fun show. I've enjoyed it. I think it got better with age in terms of season over season here. I just had so much fun this last season. Season 3 still might be the pinnacle for me. We'll get to all that in a little bit, but absolutely love it. Romancing it all the way.
And probably even in the nice cruise, the maybe not the honeymoon suite, but pretty close. The nice one, no Motel 6 here. We're doing it up real proper, like, although breakfast will probably still be at Waffle House. Let's get into it by doing a little bit of a season by season discussion, especially for 1 and 2, because we have not done specific episodes covering those seasons. How about season 1, Jamie G? When's the last time you rewatched it? I have rewatched it before season 4 began, and I actually did rewatch the pilot, and I think the first, maybe the first 2 episodes a couple of days ago, trying to get ready for this. When's the last time you saw season 1?
Season 1, I watched it prior to season 4 coming out. I watched all 3 seasons. Before that, that had been the first time I rewatched it. So it was kind of cool to see it. Forgot about some of the really funny moments, but in many ways, you can kind of tell that the show was still kind of trying to get their sea legs underneath them a little bit, I think. And also, I don't know that they totally knew what they had with certain characters and just the chemistry between certain characters. So you kind of got to see it play out. Very good season, very funny and all the things, but I think that looking back, it may be the weakest of all the seasons.
It's a very interesting one narratively because they try to pull a couple of different twists. The first one being with Gideon being part of the blackmailing party.
Yep.
So that's kind of interesting. And then that goes in, and then Scotty staying with him, and then he gets killed by Tiff, and then Uncle Baby Billy steals the money, and then they figure out it's him, and he gets struck by lightning. I mean, that's plot wise, that's more kinetic than what happens in season four, at least, where it's more kind of the kids are unhappy with Eli dating somebody whose ex happens to be crazy. Outside of the Kelvin thing, that's more or less what the season boils down to. There's a lot more going on in season one, and you also have the whole thing where you're not sure who's doing it because you have this is the beginning of the mini mall churches, right? Where they're doing the mini mall, and you get the dude, the Reverend John Wesley Seasons, who comes in there, Dylan McRoney, and they're trying to, that's where they're kind of fighting with him, and they're not sure who's doing what. They kind of pull that trick in both of the first two seasons. So that kind of stuff is fun, but it really seems like they're not sure what to do, with Amber, with the kids who aren't Gideon, and especially with BJ and even Judy a little bit, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't get the full on greatness of Judy in season one. You get glimpses, and you certainly don't get what they develop with BJ, particularly as they get into season two and three with him. You don't get any of that. So I think it's funny and it's awkward just because BJ kind of has an awkwardness about him. But outside of that, you're missing out on all the great stuff they do with BJ. But yeah, I mean, some interesting plot points. It was a little bit of a whodunit, which I think made it fun. But again, I don't even know that they fully knew what they had in Uncle Baby Billy at this far back.
100%. I was actually thinking about that, and my guess is that they were just going to see how it works. And Goggins sometimes is like this with availability. I remember he would just randomly do Sons of Anarchy. They would just write him in whenever he happened to be available for a day so he could film an episode or whatever. So it wouldn't surprise me if in the first part of this there was a little bit of that. Because every year he definitely became more and more part of the main cast to the point where, now it was surprising if we didn't get Uncle Baby Billy in an episode. Whereas back in season one and even season two, it was definitely more sporadic. But yeah, they didn't quite have it yet. It's pretty close, but it's not quite, maybe all the way there yet. One thing I really did like with this is Jesse was a little bit more raw here in all the stuff with kind of his gang. I call them the League of Respectable Gentlemen, or whatever you want to call upstanding citizens. This was kind of fun with the blackmail and all their little shenanigans and getting caught by the wives and having to, confess, and the partying with the strippers, and when they get the t-shirts to cover up, and like the dude not deleting his email, all that stuff I had a ton of fun with. I really liked his little gang here, and this was definitely the most of it we got was this part of season one. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Yeah, it's totally underrated aspect of it. And when you look at Danny McBride, you think of him as Kenny Powers, right? And when this came out, you kind of started to see a little bit of him in there. And this season certainly helped with him. You kind of start see some of that bad in him a little bit, and it was fun watching him try to cover it up, and him and his crew of dads. It was just I think just added a lot to this.
Yeah, it's a good call comparing him to Kenny Powers there because that was more of what we were probably expecting a little bit when they're going with the whole opulent lifestyle in the way they portray it. You expect him to be a little bit more of a party guy. So he is a little bit different here. And so is Judy too. I mean, we don't blink at the fact that she's like embezzled like over $500,000 from the family or whatever. She's just hiding in the vents. They're not the greatest person either. And I think they managed to kind of dial that in and still make her not necessarily, your regular average super likable person, but let her, have it work in a way that she still had some charm and some charisma. And it was just maybe just a touch off throughout the season, but still, pretty good stuff. They really didn't know what to do with Calvin and Keith. I mean, they basically replayed the same kind of plot each of the first three seasons. They get their own little team and they're doing something, and they kind of will they won't they, and they just keep it going until basically the very end of three. So all that stuff was fine, really, but I don't know, it didn't really move the needle too much. And this is probably, I'd say, the last season we get a prime Eli, right? Like this is like late prime Eli. He's still slapping people around. He's pretty strong and vital. Season two, he's more reflecting. Three, he's really pulling back. And four, he's retired. So this is kind of the big season of Eli to a certain extent, if there is one. I think at least with him being the absolute center of the entire Gemstones empire.
Yeah, 100%. And him working so hard to hold it together without any trust that his kids can do it and really wanting, but not believing any of them can step up. It's also the season where really they kind of went into just how much money they're making and really kind of this super church, super rich type thing, mega church type thing, right? You didn't get a ton of, I mean, a little bit in season two as Jesse's trying to go on and do the theme park and everything. But you really got it here in season one, and they kind of, and honestly, I don't think it hurt the show at all. But they kind of moved off that, and now it was just kind of assumed in three and four. So kind of cool how they did it, and it was really, when you think about the main plot point with Gideon and the blackmail and everything, they kind of had to show that, and I thought it was an interesting way to kind of just show how much money and who these people are because of all the money and particularly the kids. So I thought that was pretty cool. But it's really this was the season to do it, and they did it in season one.
That's a good point, especially the pilot episode. That's the one that you see a lot of use of the private jets. You go around the compound, you see how they all have their own mansions. So I think they do a very good job of that. You get Gideon does the inventory, all the stuff they can steal, and then him talking about, oh, on an average Sunday, we bring in $1 million. On a good Sunday, up to $3 million. 52 weeks a year, that's some business. And that's
Yeah.
just the main church, I think. I don't even know if that considers all the satellite churches and whatnot, or online donations even.
Yeah.
So yeah, you are right. So that is big money. I think we obviously enjoyed all the seasons, but I definitely enjoyed season one. Thought it was pretty solid, especially for the first episode or the first season of a series. Although the Danny McBride shows have generally hit the ground running. How about two? We got the interlude in season one, and we did get a couple of little flashbacks from Baby Billy. He's setting some stuff up, but a lot of season two revolved around Eli's kind of shady past. We learned, as a boxer and enforcer for the mob. I really like this one. You got the big twist halfway through in the second interlude episode here, where his dad pops the mobster he used to work for, and that's why Junior comes sniffing around later, played by Eric Roberts, very, very sleazily. And then you've got the other plot going on with the Zion's landing with the listens, and they've got the cycle ninjas, which are awesome. And then there's
Yes.
even the investigative reporter thrown in there. So there's a lot going on here. Again, a couple of twists right down to the end. We're all led to believe it's a listens, no, we all believe that it's a Junior who sent in the cycle ninjas, and it turns out not to be Junior. Again, I think a very well written season. It had a lot going on. You start to at least get a little bit more of the BJ in the Amber, stepping up, maybe even a little bit with Keith, not quite as much. Him and Kelvin still kind of spinning their wheels. But I thought this was especially a great season for all of the guest stars. One of my favorites, really.
Yeah, this was a great season for the guest stars, and you could start to tell that the show kind of found their footing a little bit with some of the characters, how they paired them up. They started to give a little bit more backstory, which was cool, and it kind of made Eli. You realized Eli was more season one. He was just kind of like the perfect, there wasn't anything wrong. In this, you got a little bit of dirt dug up, which kind of fed into the whole family, and I think helps season three and four as he starts to kind of let go a little bit and curse. And season four, he's full-blown 69ing. So I mean, it helped kind of lead him up to that. He's got to start somewhere. I think there was that little bit of dirt we get on him here that helps kind of show, he's got a past too. And honestly, it feeds into some of the for as funny and raunchy and horrible and crazy as the show is, it actually had some really good overarching like messages and meanings, right? Like even if you have a bad past, doesn't define who you're going to be. You can still be a good person. It's never too late to change. All those kind of things, right? It's kind of cool to get that too.
Yeah, there was a lot of fun stuff in this one, and some, again, some serious stuff. I think this is where you really started getting some growth. Maybe you get a little bit of growth from Jesse and Gideon in season one, but if you can defend his Uncle Baby Billy getting hit by lightning, is that, does that really count as growth, or is that just, God maybe giving him a bit of a nudge? One of my favorite parts of two is how we keep coming back to that scene at the cabin where the reporter Block or whatever, played by Schwartzman, and the siblings initially find him dead, and then they think Eli did it because they see him covered in blood later, and then we get his perspective of it, and it turns out he was
Right.
just bloody because had a little bit of a manscaping accident.
Yes, which is hilarious.
Like that's a great like at the cabin, it's so blood, there's blood everywhere and everything. And then you get Eli telling the story, and not only are they discussing, that's the first time it actually sets up the idea that him dating anybody is like they're instantly they don't really come back to it, but at least they did kind of set it up, I guess, that they would really not be fans of this. But that was a very funny bit, and I really did love the opening episode where Eli and Junior hang out, and they kind of go out drinking, and Eli winds up decking the dude and breaks his thumbs. And then he winds up doing that to Kelvin later. We get a little bit of Eli's dark side, and I really enjoyed that. But the cabin scene and the humor of it, and then finally when it's revealed how it actually happened, at the very end with the listens, and it's just well done, all the way around. And yeah, dude, the Cycle Ninjas were super cool, and this was, up there at the beginning, Gideon kind of getting the major kind of chase thing where when he gets every season here, when he gets the cycle chase, which was, I remember being, super awesome. That whole showdown at the hospital was great. You got a couple chases. You forget Eli got shot in season two. He was shot. He was
Right.
in the hospital for a minute.
Right. Right. And this was the first season we really started to see them kind of like get different sets too. Like we get down in Florida here with the with Zion's Landing. We get the cabin. So you get kind of a bunch of different stuff kind of outside of the church and outside of the compound. And that was pretty cool with this season too, with being able to just kind of shoot it in different locations and stuff.
Yeah, you went to Texas to see on the Listens Ranch there, or whatever. Remember Jesse
Right.
driving the car with the big steer, and him and Eric Andre were comparing like the
Yes.
size of the steer head you have to have on your car or whatever to, just nice. And you met a couple other the evangelical families, I think, in the beginning too, is part of the plot with the reporter. And so I thought it gave everyone a bit more to do again. Still not quite all the way there with some of the siblings and maybe Judy and Kelvin being a little repetitive, but we get the depth with baby Billy, right? Because he kind of leaves and goes on his little bit of a spiritual quest here. And so Tiff kind of makes friends with Judy, and then he goes and he finds his son, memorably played by Macaulay Culkin, who punches him in the face, and then comes back and has the toilet baby birth. And I think that's from that point on, like once he comes back, then it's like that's Uncle Baby Billy, like we know and love basically from that point forward. And just shout out Macaulay Culkin, really only having the one scene here, but it was quite impactful. And that's just very interesting that he could be Uncle Baby's son, but I buy it.
Yeah, it probably tracks. And, honestly, I just thought this was such a funny kind of. We already had so many big kind of wow moments, and then they hit us with this, with the porta potty, the porta potty baby. Like, it just great stuff here, dude. Like, what a way to go out.
Because he starts talking about the toilet baby, and then the shot of him
Yes.
holding up, I believe, the wee baby Lionel is just fantastic. Him just digging down in the nastiness, of it's like a permanent. It's not not that there is a good porta john situation, but nowadays occasionally
No.
get a nice one with a little AC or something like that. This was not one of those, not at all. And shout out Eric Andre and his wife. They were both very funny as the listens. I thought it was, I thought they had a fun time kind of turning heel at the end here, and then the final sequence where the Cycle Ninjas track him down was pretty great.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love the fact that they kind of hit on another kind of wealthy mega church that's somewhat of a competitor, and all the kind of that whole lifestyle of big church families. And it's something that they used, I think, for certainly this one, and I think throughout the rest of the series here in 3 and 4, kind of keep going back to that. It worked really well with the listens, and I think it works the rest of the way with the Simpkins and the rest of them. So
Every season, at least for the first three, they kind of recycled the Kelvin and Keith plot. Season
yeah,
one, they had Faith Factor. Remember that was with they had the trampoline stuff, and Kelvin would do the flips and everything.
yeah,
Season two was the God Squad, I think, and that's the bodybuilders. Remember they had the big, like the
yes.
little cult
The
almost, and they
huge
had to do the
dudes.
thing
Yeah,
with the crucifix, and then
right.
season three was the Smut Patrol or whatever, the Smut Busters, where they would
Yes,
go to
Buckbusters.
the sex toy shops and buy them out. Which of those three was your favorite? I think mine is probably number two right here. That's why I bring it up. It was just so absurd and over the top, but just the idea you just had these random beefy, greased up dudes walking around all the time, I just found kind of hysterical.
It was very funny. I'm gonna actually go with the Smut Busters though, just because it's the whole concept of like they're gonna put them out of business by going and buying up all
Buying,
the stuff And there was just some choice shots, man, where they're just, they open the van and there's, random sex toys all over the place, stuck to the wall. Just some great stuff that they got. Yes, it could be a little redundant and it doesn't last forever in terms of the laugh, but I thought it was funny enough, the concept, and I liked that they use that throughout the season. So to me, it was pretty funny.
I think that's a perfectly fair judgment because I remember one of my favorite funniest scenes from that season 3 being the scene when Keith is all sick out of from inhaling the fumes because of burning the sex toys.
God damn, what the hell are y'all cooking out here?
Devil's objects.
Devil's objects? Man, I don't think you're supposed to be burning this stuff. That shit's poisonous.
Yeah, I don't feel very well. The smoke was green from some of the butt plugs and it smelled like pool toys.
I still don't believe that Kelvin could actually do the crucifix thing at the end, like when he beats the big beefy dude to win back the squad or
Right.
whatever. I don't know that I buy it, but okay, I feel like Keith should have done that, but whatever.
Yeah, Keith was ripped in season 2, but he gets like more ripped as the show goes on.
Each season, yeah, we should put that up too. Even because again, rewatching season 1 a little bit, it's like, oh yeah, he didn't wear this like his revealing of outfits kind of, but you can still tell now he's the dude. He's just so vascular, it's nuts.
He's very vascular. Yes.
Yeah, he is extremely vascular. So and just Cycle Ninjas, are they as cool as we remember? Or is it just because it's such a cool name? And I mean, they really weren't ninjas, right? They didn't have swords or anything. I don't think.
The name was awesome, but yes, they are as cool as we remember. They were, dude. They were intimidating, man. They were something that would scare me. Cycle ninjas, man.
They broke out of jail pretty easily. Yeah, and it's a name that's both fun and intimidating simultaneously. So that definitely helps. But I think they were also a very cool. Let's get into season 3. We did cover this one, so maybe we don't have to get as deep into it. But I did love this one. You had the main plot revolving around Eli's sister May May, her sons Chuck and Carl. Just great names. Chuck and Carl sounds very Walking Dead, maybe just because of the Carl, and obviously their dad Peter, played by Steve Zahn, who is always a good time. You get Uncle Baby Billy doing the Bible bonkers. You get Gideon kind of doing the mentorship thing with Eli. You get Eli kind of, tentatively handing over the day-to-day operations of the Empire to the siblings. You mentioned already, you get the Smut Busters. I like this one a lot. I've rewatched it again before the season started, and I definitely enjoyed it a ton. I would say just as much. Again, this is the beginning of very prominent Uncle Baby Billy. My main complaint with the season is that Eli doesn't get enough to do, but it's definitely a great Judy season. It is the coming out season for BJ Barnes' son. So I still think season 3 is a way up there for me. What do you think, man? When you think back on season 3, like what's the first thing that pops into your head? Is it the monster truck? Is it the Bible bonkers? What is it?
It's definitely Bible bonkers, man. I mean, Uncle Baby Billy Bible bonkers now. I mean, the usage of the throne room really became a thing, and Uncle Baby Billy just completely took the show over, in my opinion. But the emergence of Judy and BJ could stand on his own in this one. The fight scene was unbelievable, dude. Like one of the best scenes this show did. It was so good. And the Redeemer. I mean, come on, dude. Redeemer. Awesome song. Awesome thing. Great way to tease it. And then we finally get it. I thought this season was essentially perfect. Yes, we don't get enough Eli, but damn, man, this was a great season, dude. Great season.
The cousins were a lot of fun. I remember really loving Cousins Night, and when they come and they stay with the Gemstones and they're getting the 5-star treatment, they're all pampered up and getting the manicures and the haircuts and the beard trims.
Yes. And I love that they stayed true to it. And even in season 4, that element, a little bit of whodunit. And I think it's kind of fun. Every season you kind of got that where you're like, all right, what's really going on here? Is it this? Is it that? In season 4, it's like, all right, is it really Cobb or is it Corey? Season 3, you wondered just a little bit, not enough to where it's like gonna rival Clue in terms of whodunit, but it's enough to make it interesting.
Absolutely. I pretty much love all of the various plot lines going on here. I did even like the Judy cheating plot because I love the Steven dude, the dude who gets in the fight with BJ.
Yes.
He was so sleazy and so perfect. It's like And, dude is like a Smash Mouth cover band or whatever the hell it was. Like,
Yeah.
he just has like the perfect look for it, and
Yeah,
he
the
was
Sugar
great.
Ray, the Sugar
Yeah, the
Ray.
Sugar Ray cover band. Yeah, that's what it was. I was tub thumping with it over here. I think because Casey Wilson played his wife. She was great too. I loved that entire plot line, even though it made Judy seem like a little skeezy. I think she needed it to like totally be with BJ and like accept him for being the alpha or whatever they kind of had to do. So that was pretty great. And Dusty Daniels, Shea Wiggum, shout out Shea
Oh,
Wiggum, who's one of those guys who's in everything. He's Dusty Daniels, the car driver, and that's the other plot of the season. They're fighting with the Simpkins siblings to get the dough. Vance is really the only one who sticks around. Craig does show up in one episode in season 4, but otherwise they're just in season 3, and they are the opponents on Bible Bonkers, which is it's still just I know we get the whole thing in Galilee Gulch in 4, but my still favorite kind of chaotic everything coming together scene has to be everything that goes on with Bible Bonkers, from the actual everything in the dressing room beforehand to the game to the locust to the van almost exploding and Peter having to drive it away. That was just an absolute like crazy, like I don't know what it was, 3 4 minutes of television, but that
yeah.
was just absolutely wild. I'll never forget watching that for the first time.
Yeah, it was so wild and crazy, and again, a really good kind of message being delivered here. Everything kind of hit its boiling point, and then you get the release of all that. And how cool was the game, dude? Like I wanted to be on like that was such a cool game, and it was great to see Uncle Baby Billy have a little bit of success here. I mean, he's just been out there misbehaving, Mills, and he worked hard, man. He got it, and it was awesome to see ultimately one of the better endings of a season, in my opinion, too, the way they did this, which was really cool because when this came out, we weren't sure there was going to be a season 4, right? It had not been confirmed yet.
They announced it was right around, like it wasn't before the finale aired, but it was like within a week or two of it. So it might have been like after it aired, but before we did our kind of wrap up, maybe
Yeah.
something in that range. Because yeah, they all get their turns driving the monster truck. And let's not forget, you know what? Let's just put it on the table here. You got Gideon versus the Cycle Ninjas, or Gideon driving the Redeemer, tearing up the militia thing. As cool as the Cycle Ninjas was, monster truck. So I'm going with Gideon driving the Redeemer. Which is it for you?
Yeah, I gotta go Redeemer here, but man, the Cycle Ninjas were awesome. Redeemer was so cool. The way they teased it, that they hit the perfect needle drop. Everything was so right with this. Yeah, I gotta go Gideon in the Redeemer.
And this is the first of at least a couple of backstage scenes we get with Uncle Baby Billy over the last 2 seasons. Obviously he asserts dominance by hanging dong in season 4 in a dressing room. But remember in this one, he tries to give him the answers and they actually don't take them.
Right, right.
That was, I guess their big kind of moment. And then of course they're rewarded with the plague of locusts. But everything about that rocks. I even like the whole side plot of Gideon becoming Eli's driver. I thought that was a really fun one. He had another fun chase with that one. Whereas
Yeah,
Eli's driver too.
he definitely did. He definitely did. And any way they can use Gideon, I've genuinely always liked Gideon when they can figure out a way to use him. It adds a different element, a soft kind of humor with him that I think the show needs. So it's always good when they can bring him in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought the cousins were both pretty good for humor, but
Yeah.
especially Carl, Robert Obrest, the big like world's strongest man type of dude or whatever he is. He was a really funny dude, despite not really having a ton of lines or whatever. Just a really good like comedic presence. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
and
just
he
because
had
he's
some good
gigantic,
physical
but
comedy and he, the scene of him getting pampered in the robe and it barely fits. All that stuff was really good with him.
I feel bad not mentioning Steve Zahn more. He just didn't get a ton of funny stuff. I enjoyed the way he played the character. It was, I guess, maybe a little ironic when you find out how he got shot trying to rob the bank. And that's another good kind of reference to the Gemstones, maybe not being, always the purest of heart or just a reflection of kind of this whole, evangelical thing that feels like a grift at times. The whole thing revolves around the Y2K survival buckets they sold. And
Right,
what's the one thing they'll apologize to, but what won't they do? Give them the money back. Kind of the same thing we see in season 4, right? They'll never even consider giving Corey the money. You know what
right.
I mean? Just for some reason, like it's still all business at the end of the day a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, look, Y2K was a real concern. We lived through it. It was a real concern.
Yeah, we lived through it. Just some of us didn't wind up with monster trucks out of the deal.
No, we didn't.
And we just recently discussed season 4, so we probably don't have to get too far into it. Let's just stay in retrospect. I still can't get 100% behind the decision to sideline BJ the way they did with the paralyzing bit. That's still my least favorite part. I do not love how the siblings, continue to harp on the Eli and Lori thing so much that they can't just get over it, but whatever. Having to sideline BJ, I know Dr. Watson was awesome. BJ got a couple funny moments with him, but it kind of also took Judy down a little bit because she lost that good sparring partner in BJ for the most part. Still very funny with the other siblings, but so much what we liked in 3 was her and BJ, their comedy together. We saw that in the first episode or 2 of 4. So that still probably remains my main complaint for this season. How about yourself? Is there anything looking back on it that you either, like a little bit more or a little bit less or what have you than our original watch through?
Yeah, I mean, yes, Dr. Watson was so awesome, but I think what bothers me the most about it was it sucked. We lost BJ for basically the middle chunk of the season, basically all of it, except the last couple, right in the first. But dude, they set it up to where they were going to take BJ to new heights. He's on an all-time high coming off of season 3, and now he's going to be doing the pole dancing, and you've got Judy, watching him getting slick, finger dancing on her snap drags. You got the whole thing. It's so hilarious. It's going to be amazing, dude. All the wording and just the descriptive of BJ just describing how he pole dances, and it didn't deliver. It's like it's almost as bad as them like going out of their way to deliberately show to dong for like the first 5, 6 episodes, and then just never giving us the mangled dong that we were promised. Like the penis that was promised never came, and I'm disappointed in that. But yeah, the BJ thing is we got Dr. Watson, so I can't totally go crazy on it, but I hated it because BJ he was so huge in season 3. I thought that Eli was a real highlight, kind of looking back. I know you think season 1 might have been, I love this season for Eli, dude. Like, I know he gets kind of emotional and down in the dumps, but Eli with long hair, smoking cigars, freaking, getting strange, just out there on the scene, dude, and then kind of falling for Miss Lori here. And they had some good moments together, like the scene where they eat the edibles or whatever, and then they get shot up, and I just all their stuff was really good. So I thought Eli was a bit kind of better than I thought. Uncle Baby Billy, always incredible. I know that we're disappointed Teen just didn't turn into a hit, but I think it was fun having Teen just kind of throughout and just Uncle Baby Billy's kind of weird cocaine child of Teen just.
Yeah, I just wished we had a little bit more resolution on a couple things. I really liked having the prelude episode. I thought it was well done. I like the
Yeah.
idea of the gold Bible kind of stretching across the gemstones generations and seeing how they kind of got their start. And the idea that they weren't always, pure of heart, and maybe they won't always will be, but they'll, try to do their best and what have you. So all of that was well done. Just it felt like there were a couple of hangers that they just had to wrap them up. Like, remember prayer pods?
Yeah.
Remember, like that was going to be like a thing. Even the Simpkins thing, right? He's still going to keep building the mini mall churches. I know you got the yellow hanky, but it still feels like there was maybe a little bit missing in the middle there. And then Teen just too, just the way it's just dropped without any resolution. No one cares that Uncle Baby Billy wasted that money or anything. It just feels by subtracting that one episode for Prelude that they had to cut a couple of other plots short. I mean, honestly, maybe that's why they did what they did with BJ. They just had to take a character off the board a little bit to give them a little bit more room for everybody else because we did get a lot of the siblings this season. And let's be honest here, it's definitely the biggest Keith and Kelvin season by far. I don't know the exact numbers, but I would guess that came with quite a bit more screen time. So that's probably what it came at the expense of. That sucks a little bit that we didn't get those characters, but on the other hand, it was nice that they finally did something with Keith and Kelvin. Them, along with Eli, were probably the big winners of this season because they really got to move their plots forward. Judy and BJ are basically right where they ended season 3 now with a monkey, and Judy and Jesse and Amber kind of the same place, right? Just everything is a little bit maybe better than it was then.
I agree with all of that. The other thing that kind of on look back here that I think this season struggled with compared to other seasons was the flashback episode. I thought the flashback episode, we didn't really learn anything new. And it didn't deliver with the mangled junk. Not that like they needed to show us his crocodile bitten, member or whatever, but it was like it was teased so hard and then to not do it, there wasn't really a big wow moment, and it just didn't, so to me I think that was probably the worst out of the 4 in terms of flashbacks.
I totally agree with you. And I think if I read somewhere that Danny McBride made a bet with George R. R. Martin, they will release the scene with the penis that was promised right after he releases The Winds of Winter. So, unfortunately, probably never. We will never see the penis that was promised. It exists, but it's being held up by, Game of Thrones, much like a lot of other HBO properties these days. So, no real surprise there. Yeah, I mean, the Pontius thing, I guess, works out because Gideon's out, like, the skateboarding priest and all that. I would have liked for just maybe a little bit more to do. Same thing for Amber. She really kind of gives the monkey to BJ and Judy, and that's it. And Amber does not get a lot to do at all. We saw her be pretty useful in 2 and 3. So again, just a little bit of a step back here. I guess that the screen time had to go somewhere. Definitely a victory, but some one more than others in season 4. Definitely.
For sure. All in all, great show, great season. Still had a ton of laughs. I think the dialogue was really good in this one. I missed Martin. We didn't get enough Martin in season 4. I'll leave it at that. But there was a lot of good in season 4, and I still think it's up there with some of the best seasons out of the 4 here. So before we give our grades for the series, though, we should probably rank the seasons. We've been teasing it enough here. We won't do a Gemstones and like tease it and then not show it to you, right? Mills, go ahead, go first here. Rank the 4 seasons of Gemstones from worst to first.
Oh man, this is going to pay me to do it. I think I am going to put 4 at 4. I like 4. I like them all. I just have the couple of little problems there. The interlude episode being just such a low cut of quality below the others. And while I like Prelude, the fact that it gives one less episode to this final season, it just messes up the pacing a little bit. So I'm a big fan of them all. Never been a bad season of Gemstones, but I'll put 4 at 4. And then I'm going to put season 1 at number 3. Still liked it, but like you said, a little bit of the show trying to find itself. BJ, especially Amber, the characters really aren't quite who we know they're going to be. And then I'm going to put 2 at 2. I did not do that intentionally. And then season 3 at number 1. So those are mine from top to bottom. Season 3, season 2, season 1, season 4. Jamie G, how about yourself from worst to first?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna put season 1 at number 4. Again, really good season. It was a lot of fun. We both believe there was never a bad episode, never a bad season of Gemstones, but 1 to me is gonna be at the bottom here, just because they were still trying to figure out kind of what they had, who they were, getting their sea legs, find out what works, what doesn't. And it was very good season, but I'm putting it at 4. For number 3, I'm gonna put season 2. I'm going to put season 2 there. Again, season 2 was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the side characters. I enjoyed getting out of the compound. Really good season. But for me, I thought the dialogue and the humor and some of the wow moments in season 4 and just the way it ended, and maybe because it's most recent, it's getting a little biased here. But I'm putting season 4 at number 2, and then I'm putting season 3 as number 1.
So pretty close. Probably not a surprise there. And once again, never been a bad one. It's that time. We got to do it all the way. So we got to bust out the jeweler's loop, the one we stole from Mars Eye Larry, and use it to evaluate the episode. In this case, the entire series, because we graded every episode on a scale of 0 to 100 gemstones. So we're going to do the same for the series. Jamie G, on average, you gave season 3 91 gemstones. Season 4, 91 gemstones. So that's an average of 91 gemstones. What are you giving to the series as a whole, 0 to 100 stones?
When I look at this series overall and how much fun I had, how much I love the characters, the side characters, the storylines, the plots, how funny it is, the incredible humor, it's just a job well done, and it got better in terms of how it was filmed, shot, looked. I mean, they did. I mean, dude, in that prelude, I mean, there was a freaking Civil War fight. There was cannons and stuff. They did a lot of cool stuff throughout the years on this one. I'm giving it, from a series standpoint, 96 gemstones.
He believes the sum is greater than the parts. I gave season 3 an average of 89 gemstones, season 4 an average of 86. Average them together, it's 88 when we're rounding up. I'm going to bump that up as well. I'm going to go with 93 gemstones. Much like JBG, I feel like the sum is greater than the parts. Yeah, you can pick apart some individual episodes, but especially if you want to binge these things, it's an extremely bingeable show. For a comedy, it's pretty rewatchable. There are some jokes you can pick up the second, even third time around. And it always looked really cool. Very interesting soundtrack. Well deserving. So he's at 96. I'm at 93. I think we liked it, and let's just have a little bit of fun here just for a minute. We got our guy Dylon. He likes to do the hot fire, so got a couple quick questions for us to answer. JBG, we see the Gemstones. They like to go to Sunday brunch at Justin's. If you had to go to Sunday brunch somewhere every week, where would you go?
Ooh, Waffle House.
Ooh, that's pretty. See, you're going to see them on. You think I would say Steve's, but I'll actually go with Chickies and Pete's. It's a sports bar in Philadelphia because they have good food and also many, many televisions. Because if you're doing Sunday brunch, I still want to be able to watch some football. So I got to work that in there. That is one thing the Waffle House does not have, at least in my experience.
True.
They do not have the television. How about this one, Jamie G? What reality show would you most like to see Uncle Baby Billy on?
Oh man, there's not a wrong answer, all of them, but I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go Family Feud, man. I
That's more of
like.
a game show than a reality show. Like a reality show, like Survivor, Big Brothers,
All
something
right,
like
all right,
that.
all
I
right.
mean, I would say, you know what? I'll give you. I'll go. How about old school MTV Real World? Like
He'd be
imagine
great
Uncle
on Real
Baby
World.
Billy in like Las Vegas Real World or something like that.
He would be great on Real World. I'll also give you. I'll also give you. Put him on The Amazing Race. He would. That would be great too. And he's got a partner with somebody. Make it like Sola or Tiff or something. And yeah, dude. That. Yep.
Yeah, a close second was Joe Millionaire. The problem is nobody. Well, I guess everyone would believe that Uncle Baby Billy is a millionaire, but he might actually be a millionaire, so that would defeat the purpose of Joe Millionaire. Here's a more interesting one, might hit close at home. Jamie G, let's say you had a 10-year-old child. Which gemstone sibling would you most trust to babysit them?
Oh man. Um. The answer is Amber, but I can't pick Amber. Probably Kelvin, and that's so bad. Probably Kelvin. I think I'm
I
going.
think if you had to pick one of the primary siblings, Kelvin, if you were going to cheat younger siblings, obviously Gideon would be the best.
Yes, Gideon would be
I
the.
don't think there's any question out of all of the gemstones. I mean, maybe even Eli, because 10-year-old, Eli's kind of old, right? 10-year-old could be a little bit tough. So I think Gideon probably overall, just all the gemstones on the board. Right. I mean, hell, Lori might be number two at this point. So we can work her in there. I think she'd probably be a fine babysitter. I mean, same part problem with running around a little bit, but, what have you. How about, dude, you're stranded on a desert island. You can watch one thing for the rest of your life. You can either watch, there are 200 episodes of Bible Bonkers or 30 episodes of Teen. Just it's all you can watch for the rest of your life. What are you going with? 500 episodes of Bible Bonkers, 30 episodes of Teen. Just
Oh man, I'm gonna go 500 to Bible Bonkers just because there's more variety. But you know what? If Teen just was there, I could live. I could live.
if Uncle Baby Billy can stretch that into 30 episodes, I think it would just be so epic that it would just overcome. I wouldn't even be sad that I'm on the deserted island anymore. It wouldn't even be a thing. Oh yeah, this is a real fun one, dude. What kind of sporting event would it be most fun to attend with Uncle Baby Billy?
Ooh man, probably Kentucky Derby, just because we
That's
can
I
get
was
all
leaning that
crazy.
way.
Yeah, probably Kentucky Derby. Go gamble, dress up, have a bunch of drinks with them, and yeah, that's
I mean,
Super
the
Bowl would be
Super
fun too,
Bowl,
though.
right? That's a yeah. I keep getting down to the Super Bowl. I wish we knew if he had a card game. World Series of Poker could probably be that one could probably be fun. I keep trying to go with a random one here or there, but yeah, I do think it would be probably the Kentucky Derby. He just strikes me as that as a man who likes the ponies for some reason. All right, dude, same question. Change to Jesse Gemstone because I think it is the Super Bowl.
Oh man. Yeah, I think it is a Super Bowl too. I think he would that or like the World Cup or something with him. I could just picture it being so fun.
Yeah, I'm also trying to picture Uncle Baby Billy on like college game day or something. I feel like that could be a pretty good time. I don't know, whatever. Would he be there for what Myrtle Beach for the Mermen maybe or something like that? I'm
Yeah.
not quite sure. We mentioned it before. What if there was going to be a spin-off show with Judy Gemstone and Dennis Reynolds? what would like the basic concept of it be? Like, would they be detectives? Would they be running a restaurant together? Would they be sharing a jail cell at a mixed sex prison? Like, what do you think the concept would be if those two were on a show?
Oh man, I like all those. I could picture them being like they both work like the different shift of like at like like a hotel overnight, and it's like the midnight in the morning, and they and that's when they interact and stuff. I can picture that being kind of cool.
All right, a little bit almost of like a four rooms thing going on. That could be fun. Dude, how about if you just said, all right, screw it. Like they can't seem to kill Dexter. What if you just completely reboot Dexter as a comedy and you make Dennis Reynolds the Dexter role and then you make Dab Judy? But he's still killing people. Maybe you make her so she knows about it early on or something like that, and then just do it as a straight comedy, but then it's straight up a serial killer.
Dude, in a weird universe, that might actually work better. That's a
I would kind of watch, especially if you can get, good like what the funny part is you can just still bring back what's his name is Batista.
yeah.
You can still just bring back a couple of characters you like for the original and never mention it.
Surprise, motherfucker. Can we
Oh,
get
we put
Dokes back?
Dokes back? Oh yeah. Well, Dokes, yeah, we'll recast. Maybe we'll we'll switch it up and Dokes will be like Guerrero or something. I bet you he's funny.
Or Doke said like a son or something that we didn't know about, and now he's in there. Like,
Yeah, whatever. I'll put John Thundergun in it. I don't really care as long as you got Dennis and Judy just doing their thing because they have such weird energy. Just the two of them vibing, and I think just off kilter serial killer comedy would be probably perfect for both of them.
yeah.
I mean, Judy was kind of ready to go to war with a monkey. Dude, I have no idea what the answer to this would be. Maybe you know. What's Jesse Gemstone's favorite television show of all time? Is it Entourage?
Dukes of Hazzard?
Dukes of Hazzard. Dukes of Hazzard's probably a good one. I can see it being something old like that, or something like Gunsmoke, or something like that. Maybe
Yeah.
some kind of old western or something.
Yeah, just because he likes like the macho man, like I can picture
Yeah,
the
he likes the monster
guy with the
trucks and stuff
gun.
like that. Dukes of Hazzard. He's about that age. That's probably a good one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
where I
you
would.
probably yeah, that's probably a good one right there. I think we'll go with your answer. Dude, right now, let's just say randomly, you're going to drop two people into a random city. All they have are their clothes on their back, and it's a race to get to $1 million first. Who gets there? The first out of Uncle Baby Billy and Boyd Crowder. Again, random city. All they have is the clothes on their back. Who can make $1 million faster? Boyd Crowder, Uncle Baby Billy.
Does Uncle Baby Billy have cocaine?
He's
If
got
he does,
46 space bucks for lunch, gas, and tolls. That's what they both have.
if he does, I'm going that. Otherwise, I'm going Boyd Crowder.
I think it's Boyd too, because Boyd has more of the physical violence aspect, which could be faster. He can make the initial nut quicker, whereas Uncle Baby Billy's got to find someone to kind of grift on a little bit, or maybe
Hmm.
marry. He's
Yep.
probably going right to the retirement home. Right to the retirement home, preaching gig. Yeah, I think it's probably Boyd in a vacuum. Depends on the city, though. If they happen to drop, Uncle Baby Billy right down to the cocaine alley somewhere, maybe it does get accelerated.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
one final one, we did do anything with BJ. So how about we're gonna do like BJ's like Magnum PI now with the mustache. He's got the Dr. Watson as his monkey sidekick, but you need another human in the mix. Who would it be? It can be someone from the Gemstones, not from the Gemstones. Just no more animals. We already got a monkey. Like who would you throw in there with BJ? I mean, you could throw Judy in there if you want. You could throw just about anybody in there. Who would you team up with BJ as Magnum PI and his monkey sidekick?
It's got to be Keith, right? BJ and Keith would be such a weird combo that I think I could get there for. It would be very strange because, in a weird way, even though Keith is muscular, he's like the soft one. And even though BJ's super soft, he's like the aggressive, like bad cop. Like I think this having that reverse would work really well.
Ooh, I'm trying to go a couple different ways, and I was trying to do something with maybe another Goggins character. Got me on the Shield, dude. Vic Mackey from the Shield, dude. That would be a real fun one to mix in there. Dude, Michael Chiklis, he's got that same kind of intimidating kind of charisma, but he can also be really funny when he wants to be, and really kind of sarcastic. And BJ's kind of clueless on that stuff. I can see a lot of good phrasing, double entendre. Yeah, you said the good cop, bad cop.
Mhm.
Chickless also probably, pretty good with a monkey, maybe. I'm just assuming because he did a Fantastic Four way back when. Why not? Maybe that makes you good at working with monkeys. I don't know. Anything's possible. And I think I would be there for that BJ Barnes, Magnum PI, mustache monkey show.
Yeah, that's.
That would be the
basically
title of it too.
a
The BJ
win.
Barnes Mustache Monkey Show. That's a perfect title. No notes needed.
Yeah, that's a win. That's a hard win. All right. Well, we've always given Gemstones a hard time for their lengthy, scripture-inspired episode titles. That's why we would always turn the other cheek and offer up a couple alternatives. Since we don't have any new episode titles and we're at the very, very end, how about we go for broke here, Mills? Do you have any possible alternate series titles for the Righteous Gemstones?
Not that are quite as good unless you were actually going to go with Romancing the Gemstones. If they could have
Yeah,
just,
there you
bought
go.
the theme, the font, and all that, and maybe even bring in Danny DeVito, that would have been better. But we'll do our best here just for fun. At number three, just because I can think of the silhouette logo for it, how about Eli's Angels? You had Charlie's Angels, and you always had the little background with like the cutouts of the silhouettes of the three angels. Here you could do it with the Gemstone siblings. Could be cool. Kind of sound,
I like
Charlie's
it.
Angels, Eli's Angels sounds pretty cool. Then you got Angels. That's kind of like, we got a little bit of a little heaven theme going on there. And number two, we got decent alliteration. The Righteous Rips. A lot of ripping on the show, dude. I was trying to cut some, so you had to get the rips in there somewhere. I couldn't really make it work the way I wanted to. There's a gas station by me called Rippin' Dicks, but that's not really what we were going for here. Although if they would have went to season 5, there's a chance maybe that's what Calvin and Keeps Bible bit group would have been called. And number one, dude, is the best alliteration, and it's got our guy, dude, Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers. I'm tuning into that show. I don't even need to know the concept. I don't even care if you're not religious or whatever. It's Bible, and it's bonkers, and it's got Baby Billy.
Yeah.
Sold, brother, sold. So those are the three: Eli's Angels, the Righteous Rips, and Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers. Looking back, the Righteous Rips sounds like a cool area to surf in California or something.
Yeah. The Righteous Rips, man. Those are some
Good
rough
kid,
beaches.
Surfer Bar, dude. The Righteous Rips, Surfer
Yeah.
Bar that also has hookahs. The Righteous
Yes.
Rips.
The Righteous
That's a
Rip.
surfer hookah bar. Took me a minute, but I got there.
Yeah, it's no, that's we're just nailing it here, dude. I mean, we're just basically just creating everything. Every episode, we pass the offering plate to support the righteous merchandise. We got to get the money from somewhere. We support them because they make sure that true Gemstones fans like all of us, we're not just out here walking around in regular ass shopping mall clothes. Mills, what is up with the merch?
It's a little bit of a clearance sale here. We got some classics. We're breaking them back out, doing a little bit of a reissue, dude. Because everybody needs a Amy Lee is up in here shirt. You got a little Amy Lee DMX crossover. Get a little pink in your wardrobe. It is wonderful, and everyone knows that you both like the Righteous Gemstones and DMX. So it's like a 2-for-1 shirt. So that's completely awesome. And you also need to tell people that you are in Baby Billy's mentorship program. You need to understand that he's your mentor now.
Mental now.
Everybody should know that Uncle Baby Billy is your mentor. It's something to be loud and proud of. And they should also know that you are a fan of Bible Bonkers. You got to have Uncle Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers shirt. No gemstone collection is complete without one. No gemstone fan is going to look their best without a Bible Bonkers shirt. But you got to have the matching pair. So you got to get the Teen Just shirt. And we like the particular dance, Teen Just dance, because he's got that spirit in his pants. It is great. You got Uncle Baby Billy. You got the Teen Just logo. It is phenomenal. Add it to your wardrobe. We've also got another one from this season. We got the Gemstone siblings. They're doing a Tupac thing. Dear Mama. Just contemplating, yeah, even, if they had to sell rocks, he felt good putting money in her mailbox. Not quite what they did on Gemstones, but they got them rocks. And we've got a callback from season 3. We got a little Jesse here as the deformed Dracula. This was a fun one. I believe this was a good Kelvin rip, if I am not mistaken. And then we've got a little bit of the Gemstone family mojo. Okay, baby, we're doing a little bit of an Austin Powers thing. Maybe Jesse got his mojo stolen. Maybe he didn't, but it's what Uncle Baby Billy needs right now. And we got a little bit of a movie poster shirt, too. We got Gideon Gemstone in Drive. Because you know what Gideon Gemstone can do. Preaching, skateboarding, pretty good. But driving, that man can drive. And you need a shirt that tells people that. And you also need the Uncle Baby Billy shirt that tells people, hush now, I'm your daddy. Especially if you don't have a daddy. Like on Father's Day, someone they don't have a dad, get them the Uncle Baby Billy shirt. So everyone hush now because they know you got a daddy. And a shout out to the Millsaps. We haven't mentioned them too much. We got the Millsap Gator Farm just it's always a good idea to own a Gator Farm shirt, dude. It's a very interesting conversation piece, and it'll let people know that you are a hardcore show fan of the Gemstone. You stuck there to the very end, and you've also got Dr. Watson, dude. You know we can't have a monkey on a show and not put him on a shirt, dude. You got Dr. Watson's miraculous monkey medicinal marijuana. You need some of that. It may or may not officially be endorsed by him and the monkey from Outbreak. And finally, it's inspired by Keith. Got some hot sauce now. It's very popular. It's been made into a shirt. You have Satan's Red Hot Weenus sauce, dude. Satan is angry because his tongue is hot from the sauce. It is righteous. It is good to wear, and it will let everyone know that you're a Gemstones fan, but not being too obvious about it because you want other real fans to recognize you. You don't want those regular ass fans with the regular ass shopping club, man. You want the righteous fans of the Righteous Gemstones.
Those are great. Roll out the red carpet because it's time to hand out the biggest award we've got, our series MVP. We've determined our MVP via the Righteous ratings. Mills, go ahead, remind us the process, how it works, and we told you. We remind you once again, we love our systems.
We do love our systems. We rank every character, in this case, the main characters appearing in every season in 5 different categories. They can receive between 1 and 5 points. 1 is the worst, 5 is the best. The 5 categories are getting shit done. Pretty self-explanatory. Are they getting shit done? Then we have their home life. How is their romantic life? How is their relationship with their kids? How are things going at home? Then we have the flip side of that coin for number 3, their career goals. How are they doing at work? How is the financial situation? Number 4 seems easy, but it isn't always easy when it comes to the Gemstones. Don't be a fuck up. Just like it sounds, don't be the one who fucks it up. Sometimes that happens on this show, maybe more than sometimes. And then finally, at number 5, maybe the most important, the funny factor. How funny is the character? Have they been for this episode? In this case, the series. And that's right, we're doing this for the whole series now. So this is all of the events from season 1 to season 4. So it's a little bit different than we had for our rankings for the season 4 finale, the series finale. Just for the record, we had Jesse and Judy tied at number 1, Uncle Baby Billy at number 3, and then Dr. Watson and Calvin tied at number 4. We rank 12 characters here. We're going to go from the bottom to the top just to make sure everybody gets their due. Probably not a surprise here. Really wasn't on this much of the show, but felt like he had to get him in because he was a presence, especially in the last couple of seasons. Pontius Gemstone comes in at number 12, only with a 1.9 rating out of 5. But can that really be surprised? He's kind of a punk, doesn't really have much of a job right now. Got kicked out of military school. He's hanging out with his skateboarding priest brother, so he's got that going for him. Got a decent place to live and stuff, but otherwise, not a surprise. Pontius is kind of low here. At number 11, we have Tiff. She's got the home life going on, but outside of that, not too much to do. She gets the occasional little funny joke here, but for the most part, she kind of just exists to be with Uncle Baby Billy. But on the other hand, she's solid. She is never the one fucking up. I mean, maybe you could go with the toilet baby birth. That's probably about it. So you can ding her a touch for that. But outside of birthing a toilet baby, she's been pretty spot on. Breaking into the top 10, at 10, we have Amber. Again, another good one about staying the course. Just doesn't get a lot of funny jokes, didn't get stuff to do. She was kind of doing good work stuff in season 3. We really didn't get to see that in season 4, so no surprise. She is at 10. We have a tie at 8 between Keith and Gideon. They both have 3.4 out of a possible 5 points. Both on the upswing here. Still kind of nebulous what Keith actually does for Prism, so no real surprise. Gideon's looking up on the job front, but he kind of only gets to do his one thing per season. You kind of wonder, all right, is it time for him to start, finding a lady friend or something like that? Maybe, I guess he's still living in Roy's old place, so he's got the crib going. He's just got to start filling it out a little bit. At number 7, we have BJ, 3.5 out of 5. Very solid, except for the jobs holding him back. He's been all over the place, right? If I remember right, he started out working as like a pharmacist at Walmart or something like that, or at the grocery store, I believe. And then he had a little bit of gig with the Gemstones, and then obviously no more pole dancing career. So the job options are kind of nebulous, but outside of that, BJ's killing it. Would have liked to get a little bit more funny from him in the final season, but we got a lot of that, especially in season 2 and 3. Breaking into the top 5, we have a tie at number 5 between Dr. Watson and Kelvin, both with 3.6 out of 5 possible points. It's kind of amazing. Dr. Watson is here breaking into the top five after only appearing on the second half of the final season. But can you blame us, Jamie G? He's a monkey. He was funny. He had multiple plot lines, and he played a hand in the resolution of, the biggest plot of the series, and he kept our siblings alive. Like I think it's justified, to have him up in here.
It's definitely justified, and he made a huge impact. I mean, there were times we were doing this where it's like he was legitimately like episode MVP, might have gotten edged out just a little bit. But he definitely made a big impact. It's justified. And he brought BJ and Judy together, man. Kind of gave them their foreverness there. Because let's face it, I don't think there was, kids around the horizon. So I think that's pretty cool. They kind of got their little baby there.
Right, they've created now like they were getting penalized in the home situation a lot in season four. Now it ends, they're either in a very good spot here, and they seem to be a happy little throuple, or whatever stuff they're doing. I guess Judy's now down to punch it, suck it, or whatever she was going to do with it. Maybe the biggest riser here when you zoom out, look at the whole series. At number four, we have Eli Gemstone, 3.8 out of a possible 5 points. Main problem for him was his career, right? He really wasn't doing much in the last two seasons. But when you zoom out, he built all of this. It obviously still has like, I'm just gonna go just chill on a boat in Florida money. So but he's got enough job probably, I guess. I guess he's got enough of a nut to sit on down there. So and now he's got Lori going on a slip 69. So he ends up in a good spot, brings up the home life. He's in a pretty good area. Maybe not quite all the funny, but definitely got some great physical comedy moments in the final season. At number three, with 4 out of a possible 5 points, we have Judy Gemstone. Again, rising up here with the resolution of the Dr. Watson BJ plotline. Things are looking good for her everywhere except kind of at work. We're still kind of, nebulous as to what her role is with the Gemstones. We know she was doing some singing like that in season three. In season four, we really didn't get anything of her doing much of stuff for the church outside of the opening bit with the jetpacks and everything. Very good, but holding her back just a touch, keeping her just behind Jesse. He's at number two with 4.1 out of a possible 5 points. Just edges Judy out a bit. Obviously, they're both perfect in the funny department, but Jesse's still got the gemstone thing going on. Even though the prayer pods failed, I guess maybe he's drifting off of his success with Gideon here a little bit. Hopefully, they'll move on to the next thing. It seems like he was able to defeat Simpkins, perhaps take over his mini mall churches. So, if nothing else, Jesse can be the king of the mini mall churches and then force them to put the prayer pods in there. And probably not a surprise at number one, Uncle Baby Billy, 4.5 out of a possible 5 points. The home life is looking great now. Pretty good overall prospects. Definitely got a lot more dough than he had back in season one, but he did kind of light the end of Teen Just on Fire, so that might have burned the bridge for future income, and maybe counts as fucking up a little bit depending on how you're looking at. But he also made his home life a lot better by doing so. But again, who are we to question Uncle Baby Billy, Jamie G? I don't think that's not for us. That's above our pay grade.
Yeah, we have no right to even consider judging Uncle Baby Billy and the actions that he does. He had an epiphany there, and you know what? I'm happy for the guy. I really am.
Long as he's got enough dough, man. He's just trying to strike when the iron's hot, so I hope he hit that thing enough times. Yeah, dude. So that was that was the righteous ratings, dude. Kind of sad that the only way we can do more of these is to go back to season one.
Well, never say never. And since the Righteous ratings didn't include anybody outside of the main cast, let's go ahead and pay a little homage to our favorite supporting stars from all four seasons.
Here's the deal. We had like 30 something of these. We each ranked our top 25 or so options. We have averaged them together to give you our top, let's call it 15. Just missing out here, we had Cobb Millsap at 16, Peter Montgomery at 17, and Nathaniel Block, the journalist from season two, played by Jason Schwartzman, at number 18. At 15, we have Lori Millsap, played by Megan Mullally from season four. I had her at 13. Jamie G had her at 14. At number 13, we have a tie between Elijah Gemstone, played by Bradley Cooper in season four, episode one, Prelude, and Sola, also appearing in season four. I had Elijah at 10. Jamie G had him at 15. I had Sola at 14. Jamie G had her at 12. At number 12, we have Chad, played by James Dumont, one of Jesse's kind of gang here of the upstanding citizens, most notably very much in trouble with his wife in season one, and did get shot, I believe, for his troubles. At number 11, we have our first major difference here. We have Scotty, played by Scott MacArthur. From the first season, he was Gideon's stunt player, stunt guy friend, stunt man friend. I have a little bit of fondness from the actor, as he's one of the main characters in the Mick. Thought he was very funny in that. I had him way up there. I had him at 5. Jamie G, he did not make your top 15. How come Scotty didn't make it up there? I thought he was very, very funny.
Scotty was definitely funny, and it probably hurt a little bit being, season one. Again, this is all four, so that's not really an excuse. I just felt like the some of the other people, I don't know, I just enjoyed them more. They were just a little bit more fun. Scotty, while he was funny, he was he's kind of a jerk, right? And that's what he was supposed to do. But yeah, nothing against him, man. I just, you can only pick so many.
All right. Well, then we have a tie at number 9, and also some big discrepancies here. We had a tie between Steven and Junior Marsh. Steven, again, the guy who Judy was cheating with, who fought BJ naked. I loved him, had him at 4. Once again, did not make your top 15. And then Junior was played by Eric Roberts, the mobster who was friends with Eli, the son of the dad that Eli used to work for. I had him all the way at 2. I loved Eric Roberts. That's who you get Eric Roberts to play, is that kind of sleazy guy who's got just a little bit of maybe he could be your pal in there, but a good deal of menace. So I was very high on Steven and Junior. Jamie G, not so. How about Steven, man? How does Steven not make your top 15 after all the stuff with Judy, the random quotes, getting hit in the head with a blender by his wife, and then the dong fight, dude?
The dong fight
And
alone.
playing tennis. Remember him playing tennis?
Yes. No, so you're right, Stephen. This is a
This is an oversight here. You missed this
an
one a little bit.
oversight for sure. Like Stephen definitely should have been on there. 100%. There's no excuse there. I love Stephen, and reliving that throughout our breakdown here. Yeah, Stephen deserves to be on there.
How about Junior, man? Is it just again, not maybe the biggest role he had, played a pretty big part in the premiere, and then just kind of showed up a little bit here and there. But I just thought Eric Roberts was absolutely perfectly casted here.
He definitely was. It just wasn't a big enough impact or enough screen time for me to kind of work his way on there to for the list for me.
That fair enough, fair enough. And then we have a tie at 7 between Amy Lee Gemstone, played by Jennifer Nettles across multiple seasons, and Jacob Jones, played by Steve Little in season 4. Pretty simpatico here on Jacob Jones. I had him at 9, you had him at 10, but I had Amy Lee at 16, you had her at 5. Again, I love the way she was portrayed. I just don't know that she got a lot to do outside of she was always just there to kind of be, the good guiding light for the siblings. It was very, very good. I always like the singing stuff. Her and Uncle Baby singing Misbehaving will always be a highlight. I liked it. I just didn't think she got a ton to do as a character. It was a bit repetitive. Very good. I mean, obviously, the hologram with DMX should probably bump it up a little bit here. I can see why you would put her at 5. I think laughs especially stood out for me here, and she did not get a ton of those. She just wasn't a really comedic character. Maybe a couple of chuckles here. So that's why I was a little bit low on her. Any particular reason she was in your top 5, or is it just a case where you feel like, well, Amy Lee's got to be in the top 5?
Yeah, and I think she's really the reason behind the whole show to a certain degree too, right? I mean, her dying kind of throws this whole family into a tizzy. And that's kind of, she was always kind of there as the overarching, like you said, a guiding star, so to speak. I did enjoy the flashbacks, and I really think she's the reason why that church, yes, Eli was talented and everything, but Amy Lee was the real star. And Uncle Baby Billy will tell you now too. That's a Freeman now, Amy Lee Freeman. She was incredible, and I think she kind of built it. And she was the good in all the bad. And without that, I don't know if you really have a show. So kind of needed her.
Absolutely fair. The criteria was our own here, so that's why we end up with a couple of differences. No big deal. And number 6, shout out to Jody Hill. We have Levi across multiple seasons. I had him at 11, you had him at 8. My only real thing is all of these guys are pretty close to the same for me. All of the kind of guys in Jesse's little league of, upstanding citizens or whatever you want to call them. But Levi got a couple of laugh out loud moments in every season, mostly by just being really, really dumb. But he was on the receiving end of the rips, but hey, he did it very, very well. Moving into the top five, we have Carl Montgomery, played by Robert Oberst from season three, one of the cousins. I had him at eight, you had him at nine. We already talked about him a decent bit when we were doing the season three breakdown. At number four, we have Lyle Listens, played by Eric Andre from season two. I had him at seven, you had him at six. This might be one of those things. If you don't like Eric Andre, you might not love the role, but that's kind of how
Yeah.
it is with some of these comedic actors. They're always kind of doing a little bit of a version of the shtick that they do. I'm a fan. I'm not a super fan, but I thought it was absolutely perfect here. I thought he had it dialed in just about right. So excellent use of Eric Andre, I feel. At number three, shout out Gregory Allen Williams as Martin, one of the mainstays of the show. I had him at six. You had him at two. Totally get why you have him there. My whole thing was he was really kind of Eli's guy, right? So that really hurt him the last two seasons because occasionally he would be helping the siblings out, but for the most part, he was really Eli's right hand man. So once Eli took a step back, it meant that Martin had to take a step back. So that's kind of why I penalized him. But he definitely had some great moments. They just mostly happened in the first two seasons.
Yeah, that's true. He got a couple of, a couple here and there in season three and four. But yeah, you're right. He was mostly his right hand man, but he was just such a constant supporting cast member to me throughout the whole series that I had to put him up that high.
Right, like you, it just seemed like you laid a little bit more on importance. I went a little bit more for humor, but again,
Yeah.
the criteria are your own. But we are basically perfectly simpatico with the top two. Number two, we have Dusty Daniels, played by Shea Whigham in season three. We both had him at three. I love Shea Whigham in everything he does. He's one of these guys, one of those actors. You see him, like, even if you don't know his name, you'll be like, oh, he's that guy. But dude, as Dusty Daniels, like the old school NASCAR cigarette smoking driver, I remember him lowering him into his coffin in his race car coffin.
Yeah.
Just so good, dude. You know, the couple of scenes
Yeah.
he got, just doing that old raspy kind of, southern voice, just absolutely perfect. Absolutely slayed it, knocked it out of the park. And then at number one, we both had him at one, and I don't think it's recency bias. Steven Dorff as Vance Sipkins across seasons three and four. He was both a good foil for Jesse and just outright funny in his own right. He wasn't nearly as funny in season three. He was more of just a straight foil. But man, in season four, especially when he started letting loose the Captain Pistol and becoming a little bit more unhinged, he got some just laugh out loud moments and was really one of my favorite sparring partners for Jesse. So that's why I
Yeah.
had him at one. Pretty much the same thing for you, or anything you kind of want to add here on Dorf is Van Simpkins.
He was so good and it created both kind of a nemesis, but also some unbelievable humor. The chemistry was just off the chart between him and Danny McBride playing Jesse Gemstone. It just worked so good. I mean, I've never seen stuff where they're pretending to dip the shrimp to one up each other. I mean, it was just so good between the two of them that he clear cut for me. And again, maybe there's some recency bias here with it, him being real heavy in season four and stuff, but it just worked all the way for me.
Yeah, I think I am completely there with you on that one. I mean, yeah, Simpkins is so great. And just if we were going to get a spin-off of the show that couldn't involve any of the Gemstones or Uncle Baby Billy, I think it would be just like something with Cape and Pistol where Simpkins was one of the more main characters. I think I could do like the Gemstones. Just he's got to work his way back up from the bottom again. Like he's on
Yep.
double secret probation for Cape and Pistol. Like he's got to somehow like rebuild his standing or whatever. I would kind of be there for that if we had to do a spin-off that didn't feature any of the Gemstones.
Yeah, I would too. I would 100% be there for that.
Yeah. Make it happen. That and the Teen Just Christmas special.
Come on, man. We're not asking for much here, right? We're not asking for much. I think we've managed to rank and rate almost everything we possibly can, except where the Righteous Gemstones sit among the Danny McBride shows. As you've also got Eastbound and Down and Vice Principals in the mix here. Mills, I had you rank the seasons first, so now I guess it's my turn, buddy. Oh, this is a tough one, man. At number three, first of all three are very good, but at number three, I'm going to put Vice Principals. Only two seasons. It's probably the one I'm least familiar with, having only watched it once. It's also one where we went from having the most incredible character ever created in Kenny Powers to Danny McBride's character in Vice Principals just isn't fun at all. And that's the point, and he has some, there's some moments where it's funny, but he's just not. It's just a drop off for me. Tons of Goggins in this one. You get Judy for the first time, and her character, you kind of see her develop. So there's good stuff here, but I'm ranking it as number three. Number two, oh man, I'm splitting hairs here. I'm gonna probably number two, I guess I'm gonna put I guess I'll put Eastbound and Down number two. It's hilarious. It kind of set the map, put this whole set of comedy on the map for them. It was Danny McBride's baby. I love how where it was filmed, down in North Carolina and stuff, and just some of the familiarity with all of it. Absolutely hilarious. But we talked about this a little bit earlier. It doesn't have all the power that the Righteous Gemstones have, and it also they didn't have the budget that the Righteous Gemstones have. So I'm going to go ahead and put Righteous Gemstones at number one.
Well, sir, you went first and you made my job easier because same. Probably not a surprise here. There's only three things to rank. We're doing a show about gemstones, so I guess, yeah, that wins the tiebreaker. I just think it's the better show. It's got a deeper cast, more episodes. There's just more going on with it. I love Kenny Powers. I like Stevie there. There's other stuff that's a ton of fun. It's still more of a straight comedy show. Don't get me wrong. I love Eastbound. In Principles is, yeah, Goggins shines. It's just not quite the same. Maybe it is just the fact that it's a little bit shorter. Again, the introduction to Edie Patterson is great. Goggins really shines. But I'm going to go the same way. Vice Principals at three, Eastbound at two, and The Righteous Gemstones at number one. If there was a cage match here, Jamie G, between the three Derry McBride characters, who would walk out alive?
Oh man, I Kenny Powers. I mean, it's Kenny Powers, man. He's Kenny, bro.
At the end of the day, he would do what it takes to survive.
Yes, he absolutely. He's shown that many
Yeah,
times.
I don't know. The other two are going all the way with it. I think in a cage match, fight to the death situation, you need to be Kenny Powers level crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He is the best. The end. All right. Once again, this is usually where we get into our predictions, but unfortunately, that will never happen again. Mills, what's up next here for Romancing the Gemstones? What are we doing with the channel?
We're still stretching it out a little bit here. I think we're going to do more of a season four specific wrap up with our man, the Soup Deucer, who we talk with over on the main show, Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. He kind of jumped in for season four, wants to discuss it a little bit. So we're probably going to just go through, hit our high notes. Definitely got some killer quotes and moments and that kind of thing we'll be breaking down. And then we're probably going to have a few little standalone releases here on YouTube, some of our best ofs, especially for the quotes. We really want to dig into that a little bit, have some fun with it because sometimes you're not going to have time to rewatch the entire series. But be like, man, I would just love to go back and just hear some of those gemstones rips from season three or what have you. Obviously we will be covering other stuff, doing kind of random movies and stuff right now, but we will be discussing episode by episode the upcoming 17th season of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia on the Night Pod cometh. And I'm guessing if you like this Danny McBride humor, you might very well like It's Always Sunny. Even if you haven't checked it out somehow this deep into the run, you can jump in sight unseen, season 17, just pure virgin, no idea what's going on. You'll have a good time. I can pretty much guarantee it. So excited for all that. Jamie G, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, this is a good one here. We enjoyed it. You never know. Maybe we do season one, season two. We'll see. We got other things coming up. I can promise you, if Danny McBride does another show, we'll probably do it. And yeah, excited for Always Sunny season 17. I'm hoping it's not the last, but we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully, man. Stop with this 2 years between seasons stuff, man. I love Danny DeVito, but he's tiring himself out with all these Jersey Mike's commercials, so we gotta work the seasons faster.
Mills, it is in fact a Jersey Mike's thing. Thank you guys for checking out another episode of Righteous Gemstones with us right here on Romancing the Gemstones. We've enjoyed doing this. You've stuck with us now for a couple seasons. It's been a ton of fun. Appreciate you guys. Keep a lookout. We got a few more things up our sleeves coming. And if you made it this far and you haven't done so, go ahead and throw the thumb, like, and subscribe so you don't miss the one or two other things maybe we put out here. And we'll catch you guys soon. Mills will let you know where you can find all of our stuff.
Thanks again for checking out Romancing the Gemstones, presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. Find our content wherever you get your pods and on YouTube, on social media at Dudes Watch Stuff, and on the web at dudeswatchstuff.com. Very simple, very easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Very crucial to our success. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please remember to click that thumb. I'm Magna Mills, he's Jamie G, and once again, I'll give you the best piece of advice anybody can give you ever. If you want to live your best life, do it by living it big, Uncle Baby Billy style.
Bye, Felicia.
When we hit the floor, yeah, we turn it hardcore. Gonna settle every score, gonna win this holy war. To a groove that's so divine, turning water into wine. And when you lose your mind, we gon' turn the other cheek.
Turn the other